Fortnite is now 6 years old, and after all these years, there is still one challenge that no one has ever completed except me. I was the first person to make viral Fortnite challenge videos back in Season 2, and now I'm about to become a chess master. But on this episode of The Bobby Bo Show, we'll look back on the best moments from 2018 when Fortnite was just starting to catch on. From wacky edits to disabled keybinds, these are 5 of my top challenges from the original Fortnite, and it starts with a crowd favorite, number 5, with 1.7 million views, win, but you can only build Doritos. You probably know that you can edit the roof shape into this triangle, and I decided to play an entire game only building that Dorito, and I was actually shocked by how well it worked. Back then, you were an advanced player if you could build a single ramp and a wall for cover. So most people probably didn't even know that you could build Doritos. So when they saw you spam all these triangles, they got confused and intimidated. And back then, everyone was still trying to figure out how to play, so we didn't actually know if these would be useful or not. So I was also trying to see if there was a good use for them by trying to build these one by ones, but I don't think anyone ever found a good use for these. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but they still worked well enough back then because people just weren't very good yet. So this wasn't the hardest challenge, but this list keeps getting harder until number 1, which is probably impossible in modern Fortnite. But this next one is another crowd favorite with a similar challenge, number 4, win, but you can only build half arches and spiral staircases. This is how you built 90s before 90s were a thing. This was a little bit tricky because your builds don't actually provide full cover, and it's also a bit awkward in a fight. But I eventually set up a 1x1 between Salty Springs and Dusty Depot and started hitting all of my shots. And it wasn't too hard, mostly just a fun way to play, but the next challenge is where it starts to get difficult. For number 3, I had to drop my inventory every time I eliminate someone, and then I had to pick up their loot before I could fight someone else. And this started off alright, but then I got an elim with the scoped AR, and immediately started getting shot at, but I couldn't fight back until I got my new loot. And I saw this problem coming, but one thing I didn't think about is how I would heal after a fight when they didn't drop any meds. I had this med kit, but I had to drop it for my next elim, so I had no way to heal. But luckily my next kill dropped the med kit.
Yes! He's a noob with a med kit!
And I was able to make it to the end of the game, where I realized another thing: I can't eliminate someone that's running from the storm, or else I won't be able to pick up their loot. But also at the end of the game, people usually have full inventories, so when I eliminated someone, it would usually drop enough loot for me to pick up, if I had time to pick it up, because there would be a lot of third parties coming in, and sometimes I only had a chance to pick up a shotgun. So it was pretty tricky at times, but still a pretty fair fight most of the time.
What do you mean? Why is this game doo-doo?
Unlike the last 2 challenges, where I would be handicapped the entire game. At number 2, it's the no jumping challenge. I thought this was the hardest challenge I ever did, but I put it at number 2 because I'm the only person that's ever done number 1. But first, why was it so hard to win without jumping? First of all, when you disable jumping, you also can't jump out of the bus or deploy your glider. So every game starts with a late drop, and then you can't jump in close quarters, so you have to hit all of your shots, kid. Also, I didn't realize how often you need to jump just to get around, so every fight was very awkward. I kept failing the challenge, so when I fell to my death on the final elim, I almost just gave up completely. But after a few tries I did get it, but I was not expecting it to take so long. So this was definitely the hardest and most frustrating challenge I ever did, which was unexpected because I thought the next challenge would be the hardest. But maybe it is, because after 6 years, I'm still the only person that has ever won a game of Fortnite without moving forward. My number 1 Fortnite challenge is when I won after disabling my W key so I could only move sideways or backwards. I thought this would be the hardest, but somehow I did this on my first try, which might have been luck, because if I didn't win it on the first try, I might not have tried it again.
Surprise, mother...
I think the only movement item at the time was launch pads, so if the storm was across the map, I probably wouldn't make it. Everything was a struggle. Even building a simple ramp and wall was awkward because you had to turn around to walk up the ramp, and then turn around again just to shoot. I think I got lucky though with a lobby full of default skin noobs, because even just one good player probably would have walked all over me. But you don't need to move if you can hit all of your shots with the gold bolt-action sniper rifle for the victory royale. So that's how I got 10 eliminations with no W key to complete the impossible challenge. And 5 years later, no one else has ever done it, and they probably never will because it would be too difficult these days now that everyone knows how to play and there's skill-based matchmaking. Back then, you could get a lobby full of default skin noobs all doing the no build challenge, and that would be an easy win. But the game is completely different now. You want to see more of these challenge videos from old Fortnite? Subscribe so you don't miss any Fortnite videos every Friday on the Bobby Bo Show. Thanks for watching.